a little bit of an error, but the important thing is that she doesn't care about everyone. She doesn't have to care about everyone. That the world is now lined up to make it so that we can succeed by working with the passionate, as opposed to constantly provoking the bored and the people who don't want to hear from us. So let me share 3 different elements of tribes and what kind of people join. The first one is fascinating. This is a woman named Del Martin. She just died. She was the first woman to be married in San Francisco to another woman after the law passed. And she was 92 when she died. When Del was 21, she read a book that had the word lesbian in it. And she said, until that day, she didn't realize she wasn't the only one in the world. And that once she found out that she could join a tribe that she was already in, she was there. And her life was changed. Compare that to Fast Company. Those of us who read Fast Company in the old days, we knew there were other people just like us. We were sure of it. We just didn't know where to find them. We didn't know where the meetings were held. Right? We didn't know what we were supposed to wear or say to tell everybody else that we were one of them. And then when Ramones T-shirts comes along or Fast Company comes along and is able to give people who already know they're in a way to announce their inness, they thrive. The third thing is the hardest one, which is to create a tribe where there was not one before. The people at this political rally for president, they wouldn't have been sitting next to each other at any other meeting, at any other rally, at any other event in history. That's hard to do. When Nike launched their sneakers and the whole idea of being an athlete for fun, there weren't legions of marathon runners. There weren't people who woke up in the morning and said, boy, I'm a marathon runner, I wonder where the other ones were. They invented the tribe of doing it, and as a result have a very powerful position. The Beatles did not invent teenagers, right? They merely led them. Hugo Chavez did not invent the disaffected lower class of Venezuela. He merely chose to lead them. Bob Marley did not invent Rastafarians. He just showed up to lead them when they needed someone to lead them. So one way of thinking about this, as we talked about, is you can say everybody's welcome, come on in. But the other way that's fascinating is to say no one's welcome, you must apply. And they both work, which is why there isn't one set of tactics that works for everyone. I was talking to someone on the phone the other day. There's a restaurant downtown run by Graydon Carter, who's a fancy magazine editor in New York. As far as I know, they have an unlisted phone number. They're not officially open yet. It's been over a year that they've been testing the place out. And every single night it's totally full. And there's a line to get in. And if you show up and he doesn't know you or know who sent you, you can't get in. Sorry, we're full. And yet, his restaurant's doing great. And will continue to do great while other restaurants are begging for people to show up. The Statue of Liberty is not a symbol of control. She doesn't get to tell people what to do. Statue of Liberty doesn't say, you get to do this, you get to do that. Statue of Liberty is a symbol for a tribe. It doesn't matter that it's made out of copper. What matters is that it stands for something and connects people. What never connects people is being average. What never connects people is being in the middle, being safe. This bell curve, if I had to pay $1 every time I used it, I'd be in big trouble. The bell curve says, wait, Walmart, Kmart, let's go to the middle. That's where the masses are. The masses don't join tribes when they get started. They join tribes right at the end. That the only chance you've got is to be over here or over here. In your organization, if there's 100 people or 1,000 people and you're in the middle following every rule, you're not going to attract a tribe of people to follow you. You may work your way up till you can order them to follow you, but that's not nearly as satisfying or as powerful. Which leads to the most important part, and I've been warming you up for an hour so I could get to the part that's really important here, which is heretics. So Martin Luther, one of the most famous heretics, said everyone should have a Bible. He said the churches should belong to the people, they should be built that way. And as a result, he was excommunicated and he got into huge trouble. He also started a massive branch of a religion. It's not possible to be a heretic and a sheep walker at the same time. Sheep walkers are like sheep and sleepwalking put together. They're following the instructions. They're doing what they're told. They follow, maybe, but they certainly don't lead. This is what a heretic looks like. And we still don't know his name. But what we know is that his ability to stand up for what he thought was right galvanized millions and millions of people. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does work. This is my friend Robin Waters. Robin worked at Target before it was called that, when it was Target. And Target was Kmart, but dustier. And it wasn't doing great. And she came up with the concept, working with a team, of let's get Michael Graves to make a teapot. Let's figure out how to bring in high design and low prices. The CEO didn't come up with that, she did. And she was almost as low as you could go without being a cash register clerk. But she built a tribe, and she worked it through the organization until it became the organization. Jim Morrison got arrested. He got booed off stage. He wasn't immediately a hero. Now people visit his grave because he stood out and stood for something. So this part is tricky nomenclature, so I put some words in these slides. There's a difference between faith and religion. Faith is human nature. Faith is believing in the future, believing in connection, believing in things can get better. Faith is what gets everyone moving. Religion are rules that get invented to support faith. And I mean with a small f and a small r. You can have faith in the pleasure of ice cream. That's fine with me. Religion are the rules created by human beings to enforce the status quo, to enforce the power structure. And what heretics do is they have so much faith, they have no choice but to challenge the religion. The religion of what it means to work at McDonald's. The Big Mac was invented by a franchisee outside of Pittsburgh. Someone who was so passionate about what he did all day and his franchise and the future of fast food that he broke every rule in McDonald's religious handbook to make the Big Mac. Right? He was a heretic too. And what's so hard is that lots and lots of people have faith, but then plopped on top of that are all these various religions, these rules, these structures. Why were they built? They were built to let someone who probably isn't in the room with you control the situation. And the challenge that organizations have is that when your dogma steps on my karma, we don't get anywhere. And that organizations that want to grow have to figure out where the line is. Where are the things that are about what we believe, and how we treat customers, what we believe in the side effects our organization creates, what we believe in the purpose of our products, versus the rules that we invented to amplify that. This is not about control. If you try to control the system, you will not find a tribe show up. That McDonald's, as I said, is controlling it. This young person probably has a lot of faith. But because they're Amish, there's also a lot of religion and rules that get in the way of that. And the same thing is true at the disco. The way you dress, what time you show up, who you talk to, how you dance. There's religion. There's rules that get in the way. So let me go back to the record business and pick on it a little bit because I think it makes it distinct. A revolution hit the record business. And the revolution was that black vinyl thing that degraded over time, couldn't be copied, was a souvenir, nice big picture, worth paying for. That was the engine that built the music industry. But the faith that built the music industry was people love music. Great musicians will keep coming. With help, great musicians can get even better. Music likes to spread, and when it spreads, that's a good thing. All of a sudden, the world goes digital. And the music industry doesn't go, great, new opportunities to pursue our faith. The music industry says, who can we sue? Because they're breaking our religion. And as a result, they completely annihilated themselves. Not music, but the music industry. The people who wear the suits. Blew it. Billions of dollars down the drain. The biggest opportunity in their career lost. The internet is radio cubed. Could have been a bonanza if they had stuck to what they believed in, as opposed to trying to stick to rules that weren't working anymore. The Joan of Arc taught people that if you stand up, you can make things actually better. Most people work in a balloon factory. Now the thing about balloon factories is they're quiet and they're safe and they're comfortable. There isn't really a busy season for balloons because it's for birthdays year-round. And they like it. And every once in a while, a unicorn shows up. Unicorns are not particularly popular in balloon factories. And so standing up in front of you, begging you to become the unicorn in whatever factory you work in is very frightening. That's why my book isn't called The Unicorn in the Balloon Factory, because Lisa made me change it. But how you talk to people about where you're going matters. If I had stood up and called the book Unicorn in the Balloon Factory, a whole bunch of people would say, I can't go there. That's too scary. But if, on the other hand, you build a tribe of people,